السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيد الخلق أجمعين وعلى آل بيته وصحابته الطيبين الطاهرين. إن شاء الله تكونوا بخير اليوم. هذه بداية أول محاضرات في مادة الفونولوجي 335. Phonology, the number of the course is 335, taught by Eman Abdo. This is my email if you need to contact with me, and I have another one which is iabdo@kau.edu.sa. كيفكم؟ إن شاء الله تكونوا بخير. بداية الأسبوع لسه حق محاضرات الانتساب. فتحت الشات if you need to send me any messages. الصوت واضح. Please let me know if there is any problem concerning the voice. طيب، كل ترم وانتم طيبين، والله يجعلها سنة خير علينا وعليكم. إن شاء الله يكون بداية كورس سهل. لا تخافوا، المادة ما هي صعبة كثير، بس المادة من النوع السهل الممتنع. ألو، الصوت مش واضح؟ طيب، إذا المادة تسمى فونولوجي، رقمها 335. مهم جدا كمان تحفظوا رقم الشعبة. يعني كثير من البنات لما يجوا مثلا يسألوا عن تعديل درجات أو عن اختبار أو بيواجهوا مشكلة، بنسألهم إيش اسم الأستاذة، إيش اسم إيش رقم الشعبة، ما بيعرفوا يعرفونا. فالمهم جدا تحفظي رقم المادة ورقم الشعبة واسم الأستاذة كمان. Phonology هي أحد المواد اللي هي has to do with طبعا the study of sounds. Phonology, as you know, is a branch of linguistics. Linguistics in general is the scientific study of language. It has a number of branches: phonetics and phonology. We have morphology, syntax, and semantics. This course actually is just concerned with one branch, which is phonology. The textbook we are going to use for this course, as you can see here in this slide, it's written by Davenport and Hannes. The title of the book is Introducing Phonetics and Phonology. Introducing Phonetics and Phonology. It's available in Khawarizm, in Jarir, in some other bookshops. I don't remember the names now, but mainly you can find in the Khawarizm في الجامعة or outside الجامعة. أيضا في جرير موجود. This book طبعا it covers phonetics and phonology. The chapters we are going to cover in this course are number 7, 8, 9, and 10, because the beginning of the book is mainly concerned with phonetics. And I hope all of you took the phonetics course 332. Did you all take this course? Did you all finish phonetics? For all those attending the class today, please let me know. Oh yeah, Busaina. Are you taking it now? Busaina, are you taking it now? Okay, now, because really phonetics is a prerequisite for this course. Now when I explain, I expect you to know all the phonetic symbols of the consonants and the vowel, I expect you to know the features of the sounds. For example, when I ask you what are the features of the sound ka, I expect you على طول to tell me it's a voiceless, velar, stop. What are the features of the sound na? I expect you to tell me على طول it's a voiced, alveolar, nasal. Plus, I expect you to know how to transcribe words, transcription, broad and narrow transcription. Please, and those who took phonetics before, I want you to go back to Roger's book. I think you took Roger's book, صح? ولا لا? Roger's book. Please go over the material you took in phonetics. Just revise it in order not to face any problem in this course. In addition to the main textbook, usually I use a supplementary material to add, some parts that you should know in this course. You should get also language files, materials for introduction to language and linguistics. Please write this down. Also, you can get it from Khawarizm, اللي في الجامعة واللي خارج الجامعة. It's part of a book. It's part of a big book. And I left a copy there to make you copies of this part, which is on phonology. Also, you can get the whole book if you want through the Amazon. You can order it and keep it for yourself. You can use it for morphology and also for phonology and other, branches in linguistics like syntax and semantics. It's a very useful book and it has some exercises as well. So I'll be using both the main textbook and this supplementary material. So please try to get them. And always keep them with you when we have the class, because sometimes we might be doing some of the exercises in any of them. Okay, now let's go back to phonetics, and I want you to tell me what is phonetics. We want to see what's the difference between phonetics and phonology. Do they study the same thing? Are there certain domain for each? Is there a certain domain for each? Are they concerned with the same thing, but also they focus on some areas or some concepts related to the speech sounds, or what? Actually, both of them, phonetics and phonology, are concerned with the study of speech sounds in any human language. The study of speech sounds in general. But phonetics is mainly concerned with the physical properties of sounds. The physical properties of sounds. Phonetics or phoneticians usually study speech sounds, the articulation of speech sounds, the production of speech sounds, how we produce the sounds, or how the sounds are articulated. This is the main concern of phonetics. It is concerned with the concrete and physical properties of speech sounds. We have three branches under phonetics. We have articulatory phonetics, acoustic phonetics, and auditory phonetics. What actually you have taken in the phonetics course is articulatory phonetics. We mainly focus on this, and we don't focus on acoustic and auditory, but just we introduce these two branches to you to know them. So mainly we focus on articulatory phonetics, and this is what you took in the course number 332, which is phonetics. Now let's look at the domain of phonology. The domain of phonology, or answer the question, what is phonology? We said that phonology is a field of linguistics. It's a field of linguistics, or one of the branches of pure linguistics. Its main focus is on the abstract aspect of the sound. the abstract aspect of the sound, not the physical and not the concrete aspect, but on the mental picture of the sound. It studies the structure and systematic patterning of sounds in human language, and now we'll explain what do we mean by the structure and systematic patterning of sounds. It also investigates the organization of sounds in a particular language and the abstract rule and principles that govern the distribution of sounds in language. Again, we'll explain what we mean by organization of sounds, what we mean by phonological rules and principles, what we mean by distribution. We'll cover all these terms and concepts. خلاص? So, phonology is concerned with the abstract aspects of sounds. It looks at the systematic patterning of sounds and the organization of sounds in utterances, and also study the rules, the phonological rules and principles that determine the distribution of sounds. Each language has its own sound system. We don't have the same exact sound system for all the languages, but we have differences and we have similarities. Some sounds are available in some sound systems, some of them are universal, but some of them are not. We'll talk about this a bit later. So each language has its own sound system and sound patterns, and also their own phonotactic constraints. So we'll explain each separately. What does this mean? To explain all these previous terms and concepts here and principles, we are going to talk about three things. The set of sounds that occur in a given language, meaning the sound system that is given, that belongs to any language, and the permissible arrangements or combinations of the sounds in words. And then number three, we'll talk about the phonological processes in which we either add a segment or delete a segment or change some of the features of the sounds. Let's talk about the first point, which is the sound system of languages. Languages share basic properties, but actually they don't share the same sound system. So no two languages have exactly the same sound system. As I told you before, there are sounds that are universal, and you find them in all languages, like for example the bilabials, the p and the ma. Some of the alveolus like the ta and the da and the na, the la. All these are found in all languages. We call them universal language, universal sounds. Sorry. Even the babies, when they start, the children, when they start acquiring their language, they acquire first, of course, the sound. The first sounds they produce are the universal ones, the ba and the ma, like the mama, baba, dadda, tatta, ta. They produce these universal sounds first. Some of the sounds are language particulars. They belong just to certain languages. Like for example, in Arabic, we have حتى يسموها لغة الضاد. حرف الضاء, which is sound of الضاء, is just available in Arabic. The kha, for example, and the ha and the a, available in Arabic, but they are not there in French, in English. For example, here when you look at the comparison between Arabic and English, we have the pa, the soft pa, the voiceless pa, and the va in English, but these two sounds are not phonemes in the sound system of Arabic. For example, if you look at English versus Turkish, if we compare the vowels, The vowel E and U and U, these are U and O. These are back vowels in English. But in Turkish, they are fronted, and that's why we put these two dots above them. And they are produced with protruding lips, like U. They say U. It's not O. It's not back. You feel that it's fronted. U, U. If you notice the Turkish, musalsalat, look at their lips always protruding because of these front vowels. If you compare English with German, you find that in German we have the H. In English we don't have this sound. These are just few examples. Concerning the phonotactic constraints and also the patterning of sounds or the combination of sounds, languages also differ. Languages differ. There are restrictions on the combination of sounds. This is what we mean by systematic patterning and the combination or organization of sounds. These are related or restricted by the phonotactic constraints of languages. By constraints here we mean the restrictions on the combination of sounds, or some of the sequences of sounds are allowed in some languages. They are permissible, but some of them are not allowed. For example, if we consider the consonant cluster, consonant clusters in Arabic and English. Arabic allows only two consonants, but not more than two consonants in a cluster, initially or finally. It does not allow at all three consonants, initially or finally. Like in English, we have in splash, blah, spla, splash, we have sahfa, la, sahfa, la. It's allowed in English, but it's not allowed in Arabic. And that's why you find people, when they produce the word splash, they say siplash. Siplash. They break the cluster by inserting a vowel. So now the structure after the insertion of the vowel becomes CVCC. So they take it back to the phonotactic constraint of Arabic, which is only having a consonant cluster consisting of two consonants only. English allows up to four consonants, like C, 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 C. For example, here we have a word like text. When you add the S plural, you have it produced as text. Text. So you have ka, ta, sa, text, ta and sa. You have four consonants. Combinations that are allowed, for example, in English, it's allowed to have a stop followed by a glide, a stop followed by a glide, but it's not allowed to have a stop followed by a fricative, a stop followed by a nasal. In the case of having three consonants, we could have the combination consisting of S first, and then one of the voiceless stops, and then either a liquid or a glide. Like, for example, st, stop, sp, speak, spit, stra, consisting of three consonants here, stra, street, straight, stretch, for example, scra, screen, script, shouldn't, swing, all these, it should be S first, and then one of the voiceless stops, and then either one of the liquids or one of the glides. Are you following? Everything is clear? Okay. So languages vary concerning the the combinations of sounds in clusters, whether there are two sounds or three consecutive consonants, or even four. There are restrictions on the combination of sounds. Some are allowed, some are not allowed. Like, for example, the word psychology. The word psychology. It begins, when we write it down, we write p and then sa. Pa is a stop and sa is a fricative. Because this is not allowed in English, actually the pa is silent. We don't produce it. We don't say psychology. We don't say psychology. We say psychology. Just we produce the sa. The pa is written but is not produced because it's not allowed to produce a stop followed by a fricative, or a stop followed by a nasal. And we have other combinations that are allowed, and some of them are not allowed, but I'm not going to dwell on this here. You can read on the phonotactic constraint when you get language files. At the end of the pamphlet or this short photocopied part, you find a section talking about phonotactic constraints. Please read it. If you look at English versus German, the consonant spelled with th, like thin, and this in English, thin, this, it begins with the. These two sounds do not occur in German. If you look at the second line here, we have the ka followed by na. Now we said the stop is not allowed to be followed by a nasal. If we go back to the first one, stops and nasals are not allowed as combinations. So here the ka and the na. In words like knee, rukba, night, and knowledge, the ka is written as a letter, but it's not produced. It's not produced because when you say knee, it's not allowed to produce a stop followed by fricative in English, but it's allowed in German. It's allowed in German. The word for rukba, knee, it's produced in German as knie. And boy, knoppi. So they produce the ka followed by an. This combination, according to the phonotactic constraints of German, is allowed. So English allows certain combinations in writing, but not in speaking. Now we talk about the third point, which is the processes. If we go back to the points, remember, we said we are going to talk about the set of sounds that occur in any given language, the permissible arrangements of these sounds. And number 3, we'll talk about the phonological processes for adding sounds, deleting sounds, and changing features of some sounds. So languages may have different phonological processes. They vary. Also, languages vary in this respect. Some of the phonological processes are actually widespread, and they are common. We can say common. They are widespread, and they are found in most of the languages, like voicing, devoicing, palatalization. Some of the phonological processes and rules are not common, like, for example, the vowel harmony. It's not common, and it's not widespread. We don't find it in all languages. Unlike English, German's voice stops, the ba, da, ga, are devoiced in a final position. These sounds, the ba, da, ga, when they occur in words like, for example, lap, bad, and bag, they occur in a final position. A German speaker, when he learns the English language, he's going to devoice, to produce these sounds as voiceless sounds. They're going to say lap, pat, and pack instead of bag. So we have a change from ba to pa, from da to ta, and from da to ka, when they occur mainly in a final position. If you look at Japanese versus English, Japanese versus English. In English, we have the sound sa and we have the sound sha. If you look at the examples at the bottom of the slide here, we have sip and ship. Sip and ship. Look at the transcription of the sounds. How about Aina? How do you feel now? Do you know how to transcribe? Do you know these transcriptions and these sounds, the phonetic symbols? Aina, Siyufi. Do you find any difficulty in following us? Right. Okay. Now do your best to read the phonetics, the textbook of phonetics, and try best to read it more, and I don't know, to cope with both the two courses if you want to be okay in phonology and to pass the course. Right? So look at sip and ship. Sip and ship. Soar and shore. These two words are considered minimal pair. If you remove the sa and place it by sha, you are going to produce a new word. If you put, instead of the sha, you put da, la, for example, you're going to produce lip. You are producing a new word. And so on, you can go on like that. If you want to replace it by ta, sound, again you are going to produce a new word. So these are, we call these minimal pairs. They sound alike except for one sound. So sa and sha, we go back to English. Sa and sha in English are phonemes. They are distinctive sounds as long as they signal a difference in meaning. If you look at these two sounds in Japanese, sa and sha are non-distinctive. They are predictable sounds in Japanese. They are predictable because they occur in a certain environment. For example, if you look at the word simasu, it begins with S followed by E. It is produced by Japanese people as shimasu. They don't say simasu, they say shimasu. Shimasu. So here we have the change of sa to sha. Shimasu means do. They changed the sa to sha in this context when it is followed by the high front tense vowel E. Always in this environment, the sa becomes a sha. So the sha here is considered an allophone of sa. It's not similar. If I say simasu or shimasu, I'm not producing a new word. It's the same word. It's not like the case of sip and ship in English. Clear? So today we are going to start chapter 7, and then we move to chapter 8, which talks about phonemic analysis. We'll talk about phonemes and allophones. So let's start with chapter 7. In phonetics, we took the articulatory phonetics, the features that are just related to the articulation of the sounds. As I told you, when I ask you about the feature of the sound, la, you tell me that it's a voiced, alveolar, lateral. The sound that has the feature, these features, voiceless, alveolar sub. What is it? I expect you to know that it's a sound ta. طيب. We know that the sound is a group of features. It has a number of features, or we say a bundle of features. The ta is a voiceless bilabial stop. The ga is a voiced velar stop. The na is a voiced alveolar nasal. The cha is a voiceless alveopalatal affricate, and so on. The articulatory feature system. We have three dimensions or three parameters to give the features of the consonants. These are the status of the vocal cords, and according to the status, we say that this sound is voiced or voiceless. And then we have the second parameter, which is the place of articulation. The place of articulation, the parts, the place from where the sound is produced. What are the organs we use in order to produce, for example, the sound pa, using the two lips. The sound now we are using the tip of the tongue against the alveolar ridge. The velar sound we are using the back of the tongue against the velum. The third parameter is the manner of articulation. The manner of articulation. According to the manner of articulation, here we refer to the air. What happens to the air? Is it blocked completely, partially? Does it go through the oral cavity or the nasal cavity? Hi, Abu Hussein, I expect you to know all this. طيب. So according to the manner, the consonants are classified into stops, fricatives, affricates, nasals, etc. There are common features among sounds. There are common features among sounds. We have the sound ta, and the sound ta and the sound ka. They constitute a group. They form a group. And they behave the same way. The group here is defined by the feature. The pa, ta, ka, we define them as voiceless stops because they share these features. All of them are voiceless and all of them are stops. So they are, all of them are voiceless because we don't have vibration of the vocal cords, and all of them are stops because we stop the air completely and then release it. But when it comes to the place of articulation, they don't share any feature here. The first one is bilabial, the second one is alveolar, and the last, the ka is velar. So they don't share any features related to the place of articulation. If we move to the second line, here we have the ta and the da. Both of them are alveolars and stops, but they don't share the feature of voicing here because one is voiceless and the other one is voiced. But they constitute a group, or they form a natural class because they share some features, alveolar and stop. O and O, these are back vowels, and also round because of the lips gets rounded. So U and O, they form a natural class. They share the feature back and the feature round. So what do we mean by a natural class? When you have a group of sounds sharing a feature or some features. So they have same behavior in phonological rules as well on phonological processes. For example, the group or the class of the voiceless stops, the pa, ta, ka, they become aspirated when they occur initially in a word or in a syllable. The voiceless stops pa, ta, ka become aspirated in initial position, and so here we can see how sometimes these natural classes or group of sounds behave the same way whenever they occur in a certain environment. Phoneticians actually found that the articulatory features are not enough because they don't make or they don't capture generalization. So there was a need for a more generalized system of features to account for more sounds in most of the languages. And also they considered the binary feature. They use it for specifying any segment, and they use in a particular value for this, the value of plus and minus, the value of plus and minus. And they say plus velar or minus velar. If they say plus, it means the sound has this feature. If they say minus, use minus, it does not have this feature. So a feature which has two values, plus or minus, is called a binary feature. So by using this system, the sounds can be represented in terms of matrices. If you open your book, do you have the book with you? Do you have the book, the main textbook, Phonetics and Phonology? If you look at page 92, I think, 92, do you have the book or you don't have it? Look at this slide for those who do not have the book. If you have the book, please open at page 92. Page 92. To characterize, look at section 7.2, phonetics and phonological features. To characterize segments and classes adequately, we clearly need a rather more sophisticated and formalized set of features than the loose parameters outlined in the previous section. So instead of just relying on the articulatory features, the physical articulatory features that are in the middle here, in the middle of this paragraph, bilabials, dentals, alveolars, palatals, velars, and uvular that were used to classify speech sounds accordingly, they needed a system that uses certain values for specifying any sound segment. And this is the binary feature. If you look at the example given in 7.1, here we have a matrix of three sounds: the sound pa, the sound ta, and the sound ka. And here only the features that are articulatory are used here. For example, the pa sound, plus bilabial, minus labiodental, minus dental, minus alveolar, minus palatal, minus velar, and minus uvular. This is the matrix of the sound pa. So we list the features and then we use the values plus or minus. So because pa is bilabial, we use the two lips to produce the sound, so it has this feature. That's why we use plus here. But we have minuses in the rest because it's not labiodental, it's not dental, and it's not alveolar, not palatal, and not velar, and so on. If you look at the second matrix for the sound ta, it's minus bilabial because we don't use here the two lips. Minus labiodental, we don't use the lip versus the teeth, against the teeth. Not dental and not alveolar, not using the tip of the tongue against we use the tip of the tongue against the alveolar ridge, and that's why we have here the plus in front of the feature alveolar. Minus palatal, minus velar, and minus uvular. So if I ask you, for example, to give the matrix of a certain sound, I expect you to list the features, and then you use the pluses and the minuses to tell me if it has this feature or does not have this feature. And usually I give you the features and you place the values. So we are going to look at the distinctive features, distinctive feature systems that was introduced by phonologists, and as I told you, it's going to be this system is going to be able to account for more sounds that are found in the languages of the world, not just in English. And also because one of the aims of linguists is to determine the universal properties of human languages. That's why they try to find a system that accounts for many sounds in all the languages in this world, because they always focus on finding universal features and features that sounds shared in all languages. If you look at page 95, now we start talking about the features. We start with the major class features. These are conjunction between vowels and consonants. Vowels and consonants. Also between sonorants and obstruents. You have to know the class of sonorants and the class of obstruents. The obstruents includes all the stops, the fricatives and the affricates, whereas the sonorants include the vowels, the nasals, the liquids, and the glides. The three major class features are the following: plus or minus syllabic, plus or minus consonantal, and plus or minus sonorant. These are the three main features. The first one, syllabic, allows us to distinguish vowels from other types of sounds. So it distinguishes vowels from consonants. Okay? So if the feature is minus, if the sound is characterized by minus syllabic, then it's considered a consonant. If it is plus syllabic, then it's considered a vowel. Here we have abbreviations. Minus cell for syllabic. We're going to use abbreviations for these features. Here the book actually is a self-study book. It's very clear. This chapter is very well organized. It helps you a lot to study these features separately. It defines the feature, and also it makes a list of the sounds that are characterized by this feature. So plus, if you look here after the first paragraph, he defines plus and minus syllabic and says that it allows us to distinguish vowels from other types of sounds, let's say the consonants. Plus syllabic sounds are those which function as the nucleus of the syllable, the center of the syllable. Usually the nucleus of the syllable is the vowel. Minus syllabic sounds are those which do not function as syllabic nuclei. So they do not function as a vowel, meaning this feature is used to refer to the consonants. We move to the second feature, which is consonantal. Consonantal feature allows us to distinguish true consonants from vowels and glides. By true consonants, we refer to the obstruents, the liquids, and the nasals. So it helps us distinguish between the true consonants from the vowels and the glides. Plus cons minus cons, the abbreviation of consonantal. The plus consonantal sounds are those which involve oral stricture of at least close approximation. We have obstruction of the air. We have blockage of the air. This is what we mean oral stricture of at least close approximation. Minus consonantal sounds are those with with structure more open than close approximation. The third feature is sonorant. The third feature is sonorant. This feature actually allows us to do what? To distinguish vowels, glides, liquids, and nasals from oral stops, fricatives, and affricates. The class of consonants includes vowels, glides, liquids, and nasal. This feature helps us to distinguish all these from the obstruents, which that are stops, affricates, and fricatives. I want to distinguish between these two classes of sounds, the obstruents and the sonorants. And actually this feature, plus sonorant minus sonorant, helps us distinguish between these two classes. Yeah, for example, if you have the sound ka, you're going to say that it is minus syllabic plus consonantal minus sonorant, because it doesn't have this feature. Then we move to the second group of features. Here we have the consonantal feature. Actually here we have only one feature, which is voice. Here the consonant is going to be voiced or voiceless. The abbreviation, if you look at page 96, plus boy minus boy, plus, or you can write plus voice minus voice, no problem. Plus voice sounds are produced with airflow through the glottis, in which the vocal cords are close enough together to vibrate. And this includes the glides, the sonorants, and voiced obstruents. The minus voice sounds are those produced without the vocal cords, without the vibration of the vocal cords, and is relevant primarily to obstruents, to voiceless obstruents such as etc. The same page, please look at the top of the page. Look at the top of the page. Here we have squares and we have rectangulars. Here you are given the features. You are given the features in the first box. We have plus cell minus cons plus son, plus syllabic minus consonantal plus sonorant. And then in the next to it we have the sounds listed. The sounds that are characterized by these three features. So now here by merely just three features, look how many sounds we have to characterize by merely using three features. Look at the second group. We have minus syllabic, minus consonantal, and plus sonorant. These are the glide, yah, and wa. Minus syllabic, plus consonantal, plus sonorant. These are the liquids, the la and the ra, and the nasals, the ma, na, and ang. These are, and ain. These are sonorants. Minus syllabic, plus consonantal, minus sonorant. These features refer to the obstruents, fa and pa, ta and da, ka and ga, all the stops, sa, za, sa, za, sha and ja, all the fricatives, and ch and ja, the affricates. Are you following? Or you got tired? Hey, Jama, are you following or you got tired? It doesn't matter. It's okay. It's a strong beginning. But we need to save time. We need to cover everything. So the major class features, we have 3 features: syllabic, consonantal, and sonorant. The consonantal features, here we have the only one feature, which is plus voice or minus voice. So every time we're going to add features. Every time we're going to add features. And you will be able, inshallah, when we finish this chapter, you'll be able to give the matrix of each feature. You will be able to use the binary feature values, and you'll be able to capture generalization. You can describe with 2 features all the sounds. You can use only 2 features to describe all the sound. I'll give you an example later on. Look at page 96 at the bottom. We have the place features. Place features. From what you can see here, place, it means it has to do with the place of articulation. We have 2 features here: coronal and anterior. Coronal and anterior. Now let's look at the definition of both. What do you mean by coronal and what do you mean by anterior? Plus or minus coronal is used to distinguish segments involving the front of the tongue. The front of the tongue, that is the dentals, the alveolars, and the palatals from other sounds. So the dentals, the alveolars, and palatals are characterized by coronal. Why? Because the production of these sounds involves the front of the tongue. We use the tip of the tongue or the blade of the tongue against the alveolar ridge. Minus coronal sounds are those whose articulation does not involve the front of the tongue. Does not involve the front of the tongue. This is very important. If you look at page 97, you have a chart. Look at the chart and look at the position of the position here. Certain positions we have lines crossing them to refer to the anterior area and to the coronal area. The anterior sounds and the coronal sounds from where they are produced. And all of them, they occur at the front of the mouth. But coronal sounds, when we produce them, we involve the tip of the tongue or the blade of the tongue against the alveolar ridge and the areas around. Here we have, in front of each features, we have the sounds listed. Plus cor, which is the abbreviation of coronal, cor, plus cor. This feature is used to characterize the yes, the la, the ra, the la, ta, the, sa, za, sha, ja, cha, and ja. All the liquids and the dentals and the interdentals and the most of the palatals, also the palatals and the alveopalatal sounds. Minus coronal includes the wa, ma, ain, ka, ga, ha, fa, va, ta, and ba. All these are not produced with the tip of the tongue or the blade of the tongue. So that's why we use minus cor or minus coronal. Plus or minus anterior. And this feature actually distinguishes between sounds produced in the front of the mouth. In the front of the mouth, the front area, look at the chart. Try to make circle around the lips and the teeth. This is the front area of the mouth. This actually includes the labials, the dentals, and the alveolars. The labials, the dentals, and the alveolars. All these sounds are considered anterior. Plus ant minus ant, this is the abbreviation. Plus ant sounds are those produced at or in front of the alveolar ridge. So when you read this, you have to have the chart in front of you. It helps you a lot to see the position from where the sounds are produced, or the place from where the sounds are produced. Plus ant sounds are those produced at or in front of the alveolar ridge. Minus anterior sounds are those produced further back in the oral cavity than the alveolar ridge, like the sound ka, ka. It's not like the ta and the na and the la and the ra that are produced in the front area of the mouth. Ka, ga, ka, ga, ha, ka, ah. All these sounds are considered back sounds. They don't have at all the feature anterior, neither the feature coronal. We have here the sounds listed. Plus ant or anterior, we have the la, ra, na, ma, ta, da, sa, da, sa. Try to notice your tongue when you produce these sounds. The place of your tongue and which part of the tongue you are using. So la, ra, try to feel it. Try to do the same like what I'm doing now. La, ra, na, ma, ta, da, sa, da, sa, da, fa, and va, and ta, and va. Minus anterior sounds are the glides, the ya and the wa, the nasal in, the sha and the ja, and the cha and the ja, the ka, ga, ha. All these are minus anterior because they're not produced at the front area of the mouth, but they are considered back sounds. So here, by these features, look at the bottom of page 97. The bottom of page 97. For those who do not have the book, look at this slide. Look at this slide if you don't have the book. By using these two features only, coronal and anterior, we can make the following generalizations by using only two features. So what's the most important thing about this system? It's economy. It's economy, and it helps us make or capture generalizations. So by using here mainly, if we look just at the feature anterior and coronal, labials are minus coronal and plus anterior, and these are the sounds ma, ba, ka, fa, and va. Again, we're going to use the same features, coronal and anterior. Dental and alveolars, they are characterized by plus cor and plus cor and plus ant, plus anterior, plus coronal, and these are the liquids, the la and the ra, the dentals, na, ta, da, and the palatal sa, za. The dentals, sa, da, and ta, and za. Alveolars and dentals. Alveopalatals or palatals, these are plus coronal minus anterior. Plus coronal minus anterior, and this class includes the ya and the sha and the ja, the cha and the ja. So the glide ya and the fricative sha, ja, cha, and the affricates also. The velars and the glotters, they are minus coronal and minus anterior. Why they are minus coronal? Because in their production, the tip of the tongue or the blade is not involved. Why they are minus anterior? Because they are not produced at the front area of the mouth, but they are back sounds. These are the wa, ka, ga, ing, which is a glottal, and اللي هي زي الهمزة في العربي the glottal stops. All these velars and glottals are minus coronal minus anterior. We have manner features. We are left with manner features and vocalic features in this chapter. Manner features that deal with the manner of articulation. Here we have plus or minus. Name Munira, why are you leaving? Munira, what's wrong? Why are you leaving? Okay, fine, no problem. You can leave it. Please read the book, read this chapter. So manner features that are concerned with the manner of articulation. Here we have 5 features. Plus and minus continuant, plus and minus nasal, strident, lateral, and delayed release. If you look at the book here, before we talk about manner features, look at page 98. Page 98. Each time we have more features, we are going to have columns in the following pages. Column for each feature, like the one here for coronal and the other one for anterior. And in the boxes we have here, some of them are boxes with shaded areas and some of them are not shaded. If you look at the sound, all the sounds of English, we have them all here, and they're characterized by 2 features, just cor and coronal and anterior. If you look at the bottom of the 2 columns, you find the feature voice. So all it characterizes the features are voice and voiceless sounds. If you look at the following page, again 99, look at page 99, we have another column that has been added here for the feature continuant. So let's start talking about manner features. We said we have 5 manner features. The first one is continuant. This has to do with the air. With the air, when it comes from the lungs and it goes upward, either it goes to do the oral cavity or the nasal cavity, either it is blocked partially or completely and then released, or it goes through the nasal cavity. So continuant, plus or minus continuant, distinguishes between stops and other sounds. Plus cont or plus continual sounds are those in which there is free air flow through the oral cavity. Yani most of the consonants are characterized by these features. And we have exceptions. We have, for example, some of them are not produced with the air going freely. Sometimes it is blocked, and sometimes it's blocked partially or completely. Minus continuant sounds are those in which the airflow is stopped in the oral cavity. Here we have the listing of the sounds according to these 2 features. Plus continuant, we have the ya and the wa, the la and the ra, sha, za, sa, za, sha and ja and ha and fa and va. The minus continuant ones, we have the na and the ma, in, ta, da, cha and ja, ka and ga, sa and pa, because these are characterized by blocking the air completely and then releasing it. stopping the air completely and then releasing it. That's why we give it the feature minus continuant. Look at the column, the third column. Here we added the feature continuant and we classified the sounds according to this feature, and we use the pluses and the minuses. Look at the shaded area, it has the plus feature, and these sounds are plus continuant. In the other books which is not shaded, we have minus, which means that these sounds are not minus continuant. Then we move to the feature nasal. Any nasal sound, when you produce a nasal sound, the air goes through the nasal cavity. زي عندنا في العربي لما نصدر الصوت بغنة، لأنه الصوت بيطلع من الكافيتي اللي في الأنف. If you touch حتى your nose, you feel, this غنة, you can feel it. So plus or minus nasal differentiates between nasal sounds and non-nasal sounds. Plus nasal sounds are produced, plus nasals are produced with the velum lowered and consequent airflow through the nasal cavity, such as the ma and the na and the ang. We have three nasals in English. This is very easy for you to study then. So the plus nasal sounds includes only the na and the ma and the ing. All the other sounds are considered minus nasal. They have the feature. They don't have the feature of nasality. Again here another column has been added, which is number 4. Now if you look at page 100, we have 4 columns. One for coronal, the other one for anterior and continuant and nasal, and all the sounds are in the boxes, the shaded areas and the non-shaded areas, and at the bottom we have the voice feature plus and minus. Strident, the third feature here, strident. This feature separates relatively turbulent sounds from all others, turbulent, that are produced with a kind of turbulence. The plus strident sounds involve a complex constriction which results in a noisy or a hissing airflow, such as sh. When you produce it, there is a hissing sound. Minus strident sounds are those without such constriction, such as th and na. So the plus strident sounds are sa, za, sha, ja, cha, ja, fa, and fa. Whereas the minus strident sounds are the following. We have the ya and the wa, the glides, the liquids, la and the ra, the nasals, na, ma, ing, the dentals, we have ta, da, na, ta, da, ka, and ga, ha, ba, and ba. All these are minus strident because they are not produced with the kind of turbulence and the hissing sound. Again, look at the column number 5 here, coronal, anterior, continuant, nasal, and strident. Any questions? Do you have any questions? Plus lateral or minus lateral, this feature actually separates the sound la from all the other sounds. Plus lateral sounds are produced with central oral obstruction and airflow passing over one or both sides of the tongue. The minus lateral refers to all other sounds. Actually, we have only one lateral sound, which is the sound la. All the other sounds, they are listed here at the bottom of page 101. I have the feature minus lateral, minus lateral. So in English, we have only one lateral sound, which is the sound la. Again, if you look at page 102, page 102, we have another column has been added for the lateral feature, and the classification of the sounds according to this feature, all the sounds. We have one feature left here under manner. We have plus and minus delayed release. Actually, this feature distinguishes affricates from other sounds, minus continuous segments. Plus del rel, this is the abbreviation used for this feature. Plus delayed release sounds are produced with stop closure in the oral cavity, followed by frication at the same point of articulation. Minus delayed release sounds are produced without such an articulation. If you look at the segments, we have only two sounds that have the feature delayed release, the ch and the ja, yani only the affricates. Only the affricates have the feature delayed release, whereas the rest minus del rel, minus del rel. Again, if you look at page 103, column number what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Number 7 here for delayed release. So when you study this chapter, please study. You have the definitions given, and they are very clear for the definition of each feature. And also you are giving the classification of the sound according to this feature, plus and minus. We have the listing of the sounds, which makes it easy for you when you study the features, the definitions, and the sounds that are characterized by these features, and how to capture generalization using this system. These charts here again help you a lot in studying. And from now on, I want you to make some practice. After studying some of the features, try to practice, to do some practice by, giving the matrix. Try to list the features, the major class features: syllabic, consonantal, sonorant, voice, and then the place features, coronal, anterior, and also the manner features. List them: continuance, strident, delayed release, lateral, and nasal. Try to list them and give a sound at the top, and then try to place the values, the plus and the minus, the pluses and the minuses, to give the matrix. Like here, the path. Give me the matrix, but I want you to use the features in this chapter. The features in this chapter. Try to do it for each sound, and then if you want to check your answer, to correct your answer, I want you to go to page 112. Page 112, you have a very big chart for all the consonants with all the values given. You have at the top the sounds. You have on the left side all the features listed. At the bottom you have the feature list: stops, affricates, fricatives, nasal, liquids, glides, and it shows the obstruent class and the sonorant class. But in the whole chart you are giving the pluses and the minuses. So you can check your answer here. Try to do it yourself and then check your answer. If your answer is correct, you are giving the values, the plus and the minus, in the right way or not. So, because you might be asked in the exam to give the matrix of some sounds. So try to do the practice. You can sit together if you can meet. Sometimes you can play it as a game also. It's very nice and it helps you in studying. Okay, I'm going to stop here, and next time we'll continue talking about the vocalic features. طيب? we'll talk about the vocalic features, that is the features that are used for characterizing and distinguishing vowels. And that's enough for today for you. If you have any questions, please ask. So next time I'm going to finish this chapter, and also we are going to start chapter 8, phonemic analysis. Do you have any questions? I know that you got tired. It's something maybe new to you, but you can study it, and it's really easy to study it. This chapter in particular, it's a self-study chapter. It's very well organized. All the definitions given, all these charts are going to help you study. And maybe at the beginning you feel it's difficult, but actually it's not. When you focus and you study well, yani now after finishing the class, maybe you got tired, maybe you have more than one class today. Maybe tomorrow in the morning you can read the chapter again, concentrate, try to do the matrices of some sounds, try to learn the features, and try to capture generalizations also. And describe these sounds by using, for example, 2 or 3 features. Right, that's all for today. And I want to say Assalamu alaikum وتصبحوا على خير والله يعينكم الله معاكم. If you have any questions, please read the chapter. If you have any questions, ask me in our next class, inshallah, at the beginning or at the end of the class. It's up to you. Just write down questions if you have any. Right, now please leave the room because I need to stop the recording. So to stop the recording successfully, please, you have to leave the main room now.